Hello everyone. Do you remember Pokemon contests? Probably not. There's a good chance that you've never heard of them, or you have at least heard of them, but you never really cared enough to try them. That's for good reason though. They don't exactly have the best reputation, generally being considered a waste of time among players. But what if I told you someone took the time to complete every iteration of Pokemon contests? Shocked yet? What if I told you that person was me? I wasted hours of my life doing this, and you know what? I don't regret a second of it. What a twist. Okay, the actual twist is that I don't know how the contests work at all because I never did any of them in the hundreds of hours I spent playing Pokemon as a kid. The first game I'm gonna doll myself up for is Pokemon Emerald. Now, which of these Pokemon do you think we're gonna use for this? Or Shroomish. Wrong, it's rhubarb. Why is it called rhubarb? I don't know, man. I was really tired. On Rhubarb's first contest, we entered the Beginner's Cool contest by accident and listened to the crowd cheer just as loudly for my fish as every other contestant, as shown here. In the second phase of this contest, I realized that Rhubarb only knew one move, and it wasn't a cool move, it was a cute move. Wow, why did that work so well? That didn't work as well. What a shocking result that no one could have seen coming. How did I mess up my initial plan that horribly? So now Rhubarb has a good moveset and we entered the beauty contest and it's our time to shine. This time Rhubarb absolutely obliterates the competition with the combination of Surf and Dive, which to be honest I don't really know why it works so well together, but it does. So thank the random forum poster who said that Surf and Dive were a good combo. Next up is the Super contest, and why won't anybody find my fish beautiful? I mean, come on, look at this guy. He's enchanting. Jesus, Cham Cham, leave some hearts for the rest of us. These contests are gonna be tough to win with 0 on the beauty stat, so I'm gonna grow some berries for the one thing no kid ever used them for. Pokeblocks. Dun dun dun! Now that I have a high enough beauty stat, let's make Rhubarb into a bigger Rhubarb. And, well, completely obliterate the super competition, because by the end of the first round, you basically already win when your beauty stat is this high. The hyper rank competition was also fairly easy, with only one major hiccup when this Electrode used self-destruct, which ended up being a beautiful move somehow, and almost maxed out his hearts. Unfortunately for him though, you just can't compare to Rhubarb in terms of beauty. In the Master Rank contests, things start getting a little harder again. I was surprised to see that Rhubarb is actually the lowest on the totem pole in terms of beauty stat. After about 2 or 3 tries on the Master contest, Rhubarb took everyone else down, whether through sheer luck or pure skill. We got the final ribbon and became a beautiful young lad in Pokemon Emerald. I had no idea how the contests work in Pokemon Emerald when I began the games, so it came as a surprise to me that I was able to learn basically everything about them just by playing through a few of the contests. I think that it being this easy to learn is both a good and a bad thing. Since it was so easy to learn, I was able to run through and clear the competitions really easily without even needing to look anything up other than a good moveset to use. But the bad side to that is that it's too quick. There isn't a lot of fun to be had because the process of learning the mechanics and list of things you can do once you do learn the mechanics is very short. I think the contests were definitely a great idea, just executed poorly, especially in this generation. Also, just saying, they should have had prizes for the contests other than just the ribbons. Like, give me a berry or something. I just watched a man make his pet explode to earn more beauty points. Let me start off by saying my computer isn't the greatest piece of technology ever invented, so I wasn't really sure if I could run OBS and the DS Totally Not an Emulator at the same time. Come to find out that for some reason, OBS won't even pick it up on the screen recording. So for the rest of the DS games, I'm gonna have to show you all screenshots from what I did, while I use someone else's Pokemon contest footage. I know, I'm a little rascal. Help! The berry blender is gonna give me carpal tunnel! Okay, now that I have a C-track on my hand, let's get into the normal beauty contest. I had no clue what theme meant, so I just went with this. It works, I guess. I like this Dexter guy. He is now my K-pop bias. This is, and I say this without a hint of sarcasm in my voice, any sense of satire heard in my voice is purely coincidental, the worst rhythm game I have ever played. My moveset is nothing interesting, honestly. It doesn't even work that well. But I mean, I won, so it works well enough. Next one is the next rank of contest. I don't remember what it's called. No, that's not a billionaire Chimchar. That's Rhubarb. Now Dexter gives us his highly choreographed boy band dance routine, and we easily win the beauty contest, me and Rhubarb here. But now it's time for the ultra contest, and that's when things get a little bit more difficult, because now I have to figure out what all these dress up themes mean, because whatever this is isn't gonna work anymore. Oh, also I decided to evolve Rhubarb for no apparent reason, because somehow this smelly little fish evolving into a beautiful sea creature does not cause even the slightest bump on the appearance section. Why in the world are these AI so good at this dancing game? It's like every time I think I figured out what to do, the game just goes, nuh-uh. I didn't play all of it. Yeah, you got clickbaited. What are you gonna do about it? I'm too charming for you to click off now. So just sit and listen for a second. I started this without knowing how long it was, and once I got curious, I found out that it takes 10 hours. Probably? I wasn't able to find anything confirming that at all, but I'm not risking 10 hours of my life on Cthulhu with spaghetti noodle arms. The gist of the side quest is that you become a movie star along with your Pokemon. Cool in concept, but not so much in practice. It's basically just a visual novel with a Pokemon battle before it. That's all I have to say. Sorry I didn't finish it. And QSAT face. Did you think that I would be able to capture footage on an emulator even more taxing than an DS emulator? No. To be honest, I really want to put this video on hold for another week while I'm waiting for my new PC to come in, but I really want to get this posted. So this is basically just gonna be Pokemon Platinum Super Contest Part 2. Except I forgot to take the screenshots. This video sucks. The contests in these games are essentially the same as in the original Ruby and Sapphire. Scratch that, are exactly the same, just with graphical updates. Once again I used Rhubarb, but this time I was really tempted to use one of the cosplay Pikachu. However, Rhubarb always wins in my heart. We completely obliterated this game. The only real hiccup was me trying to find out how to get a Milotic through trading, because they changed the method to evolve Feebas since the beauty stat did not exist in any of the Pokemon games, from Black and White to X and Y. But I basically spent an hour and a half trying to figure out how I can get trading to work on these basically defunct Pokemon games, only to realize that they brought the contest stats back for this game. Only because obviously they would. They have contests again. And now I feel like I need to get checked for some type of disability. Disability to get that bread. Quiet you. For not immediately realizing that. Yeah, other than that and one loss in the Hyper contest when Rhubarb didn't live up to the goals I set for him. Don't worry, he feels bad. As he should. Okay, I think I stretched that enough even though I didn't have any gameplay. Don't ask me why I didn't put Pokestar Studios here, because I have no idea either. The top honorable mention goes to Pokeathlon, because I actually played this one a lot as a kid, even though I had no idea what this was, how to win, or really how to play it for that matter. But yeah, Typhlosion / Quilava, whichever one I had when I decided to go to the Pokeathlon on any given playthrough, was absolutely the #1 at the brick smashing competition. It had nothing to do with stats or anything like that. He was just the best because he was my starter, because obviously, why wouldn't he be? This other one is actually kind of an honorable mention, because A, this is in no way related to Pokemon competitions, and B, I'm not 100% sure if it's even real. Honestly, it could have just been a dream. And I don't feel like checking right now, so I'll just look it up as I'm editing this video. It's some movie maker thing, I think. I only vaguely remember it, but I do remember using Charizard for the slideshow of pictures it had you take, which does check out because I basically only used Mega Charizard X during my playthrough of that game. I think I had my Charizard at like level 80 by the time I reset the game to play through it again. Also, isn't it really weird that they created a whole new type of contest for the show, but they didn't put anything related to it in the games? Well, anyway, that was my manic episode that I included because I named this section Honorable Mentions with an S. So if you know of another Pokemon contest-like thing, or also had a fever dream / hallucination of a Pokemon feature you want to share in the comments, feel free to share, or honestly just run wild. Trauma dump if you want, I don't care, I won't stop you. Honestly, overall, I think that Pokemon contests were a really good idea, just implemented in a super mid way. Don't get me wrong, basically everything I did in this video was kind of fun, but not fun enough to make anybody really want to go out of their way to do it. Especially considering the fact that the only prize you get from them are little ribbons to put on your Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of all of Rhubarb's ribbons through the generations, and I'll fight anyone who diminishes my son's accomplishments. But there are very few people who even care about those. I think one small detail they could have added actually involves Feebas. Feebas was supposed to be sort of an intro to the contest thing, since you need to grow the beauty stat to 170 in order to evolve small Feebas. But that doesn't really work because you don't actually need to play the contest to do that at all. You can just grow a bunch of berries and be done with it. I think a much better way of doing that would be making it so that Feebas can only evolve if he has a master rank ribbon. Small changes like that could have brought more attention to the contests. It also would have been a good idea to make it a small part of the story somehow, or just giving better prizes for doing it. If done right, I think contests could have been a fun spin-off game, but even as is, the only reason I think this stuff was never very popular was the lack of incentive to use it. I don't know, I'm not a game developer or anything, but a reward system kind of like the BP shop and the battle towers could have been cool. I'm sure a lot of people think it was fine how it was, or some people who think the idea should have just been canned to begin with, but that's your own opinion. Yeah, I'll leave you with that bombshell. I'll see you all later, and goodbye!